I know mental health is a real thing, and I know a lot of times in our own Polynesian community or families that our elders might think that mental health is not something that's important, or a lot of times if we talk about mental health, they'll think that you're just low PC. You heard of that?
Or pukitable. Yeah.
Yeah, they crack me up. Pukitable.
Yeah, right. That's the truth. That's
right.
sad.
So, did you ever experience that? Like, did you ever go through some mental health? Did you suffer mental health, and you were trying to look for some support, some foundation, and then or you didn't receive it? Like, what was your experience when it came to mental health growing up?
Oh gosh. Mental health. Okay. So here's a breakdown about that.
Yeah.
Have I ever gone through? Yes, I've been sad.
Yeah.
But I've also have not been in the position where I can be sad for very long.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have to keep going.
Yeah.
You know? And so...
Have you seen it? Have you seen it? People within your own? Yeah.
Yes. My aunt is bipolar.
Okay.
Bipolarism, it's in my mom's side of the family. And what can we do about those things?
Yeah.
Right? God, it's so shitty. It's shitty that I'm saying this,
Yeah.
but here's the real deal, Holyfield. If you have mental issues, I would strongly suggest you get a therapist. But here's the shitty side of it, right? Getting therapy is so expensive that people that work regular jobs can't actually get that, right? Yeah. So what do? This is why we have nonprofits.
Yeah.
This is why we have nonprofits here to serve folks like ourselves, right? We have PCRC, we have Taulama, we have a bunch of other organizations that are there to cater for you. Mm-hmm. So, out there, if you are going through some mental issues and you are a part of a low-income class, or that's your situation, try to get help. Therapy is the best. Seeing a psychiatrist is cheaper, but what they will do is they'll give you medications that will essentially make you crazy, and then you'll have to depend on them your whole life.
Yeah.
And I know this because I've had my aunt go through it. I've had my cousin go through it, and she died. And so it's a real issue, but what sucks about it is that people from minority communities, we don't get enough support from that, because these therapy classes, they're a lot of money, and they really shouldn't be a lot of money if you're living in the U.S., because you're bound to go a little funny. Because our society's marketed that way, right? You're constantly walking around and you're trying to do better because there's all these advertisements that advertising all these things you want, all the things you want to be, but guess what? You're not there financially, right? That makes you sad, right? And it makes you depressed, and it makes you feel worthless, right? And so what do? You end up going to alcohol, drugs, right? What does that do? It makes you worse, takes your money.
Yeah.
And so there's an ongoing issue there, right? And the first step that we need to do as a people is to understand that it's happening, and to not be scared of it, and to be okay to talk about it.
And I've seen that. I've seen it happen. What you said, when people have mental health, of course they can't afford therapy, so they gotta find a way to cope with it.
Right.
And usually they start doing drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course when they start doing drugs and alcohol, they get criticized for it from the families, and of course they get labeled as alcoholic or abuser.
Right.
But they don't realize that there's a reason why they're doing it.
Right.
And they suffer.
So now your one support system, which is your family, is clowning you.
It's clowning you or ostracizing you from everything, right?
Right. And I always say...
So what's your advice to somebody like that?
Honestly...
That's getting no support from nobody, from the people they love.
Okay. This is what I like to do when I'm sad. I like to get a notebook, and I like to just write. Yeah. If you can write down what you're feeling, how you're feeling, why that made you feel that way, the situation that happened, just write it down, right? and then take it out of your notebook and then burn it.
That's true.
You know, so that it gets out of you. Because I think the number one issue with having mental,
They hold it in.
you hold it in.
Yeah.
Well, you need to take it out, right? And honestly, if you tell somebody else that's your family, they're just gonna talk shit about you.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna,
Yeah.
So if you're gonna write it, if you write it down, right, and you can write whatever you want on that page or pages or whatever, and then you crumple it up and you throw it away and you burn it or whatever. It's already out.
Why do you think? Polynesian, especially the elderly Polynesian, why do you think that they don't either believe or they don't care about mental health? Where do they get that perspective from? Because we all know mental health is real, but for some reason, our parents or mostly the OGs, the elderly Polynesians, they just think that it's stupid. It's not real.
I would say.
Why do you think they think that way?
Because we're the warriors of the South Pacific, so.
They grew up the island mentality. Or something.
There's still island mentality along with Christianity mentality, where if you're not physically hurt, it doesn't count.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
Like you're just, I don't know. There's something there, and I can't see it. Like you're telling me that your heart hurts, but your heart's still in your heart, in your chest, and there's nothing bleeding.
That makes
sense.
sense.
You know, you can't actually see it. So the OGs don't understand, you know, what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our community is so strong in a sense where we can kappa on each other, like talk shit to each other all day long and be like, whatever, you know, like I'll still talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But it's a bad thing only if you're doing that, you're talking shit to somebody that's having some mental issues.
Some real issues, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you've just increased it, and now they have no way of outletting it.
Yeah, they just keep it in.
They just keep it in.
It gets worse over time.
But I would say it's because of that. We're a people that we have to see it to believe it or feel it in a sense. We can't really say see it because we believe in Christianity, and I don't see too much of that going on.
Yeah.
But we have to see it to believe it. So if there's no physical harm going on, then we don't know what you're talking about. And now we're just going to blame it on the devil.
Yeah. And I think also they weren't educated on that.
Right.
So we grew up in Western society, so like we were educated about mental health. So we know about it. So to a fault for them, it's like they just if you don't know, you just don't know.